Welcome, everybody. We're delighted to have you here today. We're going to take you on an escape to Greece. I think all of us probably agree that this is a great thing to be thinking about during these times that we are still very much sort of, looking forward to venturing out. Celestial Cruises is the cruise line based in Europe, in Athens, and we are the company, hopefully, that can take you on an escape. We're very excited today because this is kind of a unique concept. This is the first time that we're hosting both travel professionals and their customers, and our mutual customers, I hope to say, on a for an event, and hopefully we get you guys just as excited as we are about traveling in the destinations that we are so proudly operating in. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about sort of the agenda of the presentation. So first of all, we want to make sure that we introduce ourselves properly. So the Meet Celestial is going to be the first part of the presentation. Then it's going to be literally time to escape virtually, with the aim to hopefully turn that into reality in the not so distant future. And then we're going to cover some of the nitty gritty stuff that is also important to understand: where to book, how to book, and some very special offers as well, just for being here and attending this presentation. My name is Gordon Dierker. I'm the VP of Business Development based in Seattle, Washington. And that's me last year in August in Greece taking a selfie in front of our wonderful new ship, The Experience. And then Mr. Ryan, also based here in Seattle, is with me today. We're going to be splitting this presentation so that it becomes a bit more exciting, hopefully, for all of you, having two different accents as we go through all these beautiful slides. So, Ryan, without further ado, why don't you get us started and give our audience a bit more of an insight as to what Celestial is all about?
Thank you, Gordon. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for joining us. As Gordon mentioned, my name is Ryan Campbell. I am the Business Development Manager for the Western United States and Canada for Celestial. And I'm so excited to share this 7-night idyllic program with you and escape to Greece. So let's talk a little bit about Celestial Cruises. We were built on more than 84 years of experience, and the brand was announced in 2014. We home port in the city of Athens. We're based in Athens, and we are an award-winning cruise line currently serving more than 130,000 guests each year. That allows us to be the number one choice cruise line for travelers to the Greek islands in the Eastern Mediterranean. Travelers are able to enjoy Celestial Cruises on our 3, 4, 7, and 14-night programs that showcase the region, not just the Greek islands, as well as Israel, Egypt, Cyprus, and Turkey. Celestial is an all-inclusive product. So once you step on board, everything is taken care of, from your onboard dining, from breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as your unlimited classic drinks. So you can get alcoholic, non-alcoholic drinks. There is a premium brand, so if you're somebody that wants to drink the absolute top shelf, you can pay a small surcharge to get those brands. However, we have a very, very wide range of drinks that are included in the unlimited classic drinks package. We include 2 shore excursions on every 7-night sailing. These are the main highlights and the attractions that you want to see and what you're traveling to the region for. We also are going to include onboard entertainment. There's no additional charge for the shows in the evening or the traditional Greek trios you might see in the afternoon in the lounge. And then also rounding out the all-inclusive experience is the gratuities, which are included in the program, and our Celestial Promise. On board Celestial Cruises, you're going to be taken through a true gastronomic journey. Dining is a major, major highlight on board our vessels due to our rooted Greek heritage. We use fresh and source local ingredients for every sailing to give you a wide selection of mouth-watering Greek and international dishes, from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, a lot of people talk about history and landscapes in Greece, but what is not to be overlooked is the people and the hospitality of the Greek culture. That can be best defined by our word philoxenia, which translates to friend of a stranger. When you travel with Celestial Cruises, we are showing you our home, and we treat you that way. You'll be greeted by every member on board with true hospitality. As amazing as the experience is on board, Celestial Cruises is all about the destination. We're all about destination immersion through our regional expertise. We want to show you the best that the Greek islands and the Eastern Med have to offer. So we're going to have an unbeatable mix of destinations to visit during your program. We will maximize your time spent on shore and give you the best overall experience in the region. This will allow you to fully immerse yourself in the region, the tastes of the Mediterranean, the sights and the sounds and the flavors from one port and one incredible island to the next.
So thank you, Ryan. And with that said, I guess it's time to go. Here are some images of some of those amazing destinations that Ryan already related to in his introduction on Celestial Cruises. But why do people want to go to Greece? Why is it continuously in the top 10 wish list for most travelers around the world? Well, first of all, it's the cradle of Western civilization. It is thanks to the Greeks that we live in a democracy, that we understand, um, you know, science in the way that we do, math, the philosophy, all these wonderful things that Western civilization is so proud of can find its roots in Greek history. And it's obviously something that the Greeks are very proud of as well. Then there are 6,000 stunning islands, of which only about 227 are inhabited. Some islands have just one, two, three people, where others are occupied, or there's about four, five, 6,000. But each island is almost like its own country, it's its own culture. They have some of their own dishes. Absolutely fantastic. Now, the Mediterranean has a lot of appeal as well, not just because the climate is quite pleasant, especially in the summer, but it's also because of the hospitality. It is a warm environment in every which way. Already explained, as Brian just did, in the Greek sort of expectation as they look after you coming and visiting. The history is fascinating. It goes back thousands of years. And when you go there, you will have an opportunity to touch and look at buildings that were literally built five, six, sometimes a few thousand years before Christ. So the cultural aspect of the destination, fantastic. And then of course, you want to do some R&R, you want to relax, and if you know that some of the best beaches in the world happen to be in Greece, there's close to 500 blue flag beaches, which means that they're clean, they're pristine, and Greece actually in the world is number two when it comes to blue flag beaches. And we already talked about the food. There will be more food mentioned. Food is important, and Greek food, the Mediterranean diet, is second to none. To be healthy is very easy to do. Now, I told you that the Greeks invented democracy. This is their modern parliament, right on Syntagma Square, which is Constitution Square. It was built in the 1800s, and this is where the Greeks practiced their form of democracy. And Greece is also the place where those that have religious reasons to travel will frequently go to. This is the beautiful island of Patmos, where St. John wrote the book of the Revelation. And this is touchable history. You can literally go to the places and trace the footsteps of these people that you read about in the Bible. Then nature and scenery, it's spectacular. This is in Milos, which is one of the places that we will visit. The blue water and these rock formations, absolutely beautiful. Photo opportunities galore. Speaking of photo opportunities galore, this is Santorini, iconic if you like. You can see in the distance the crater where the volcano is still sort of spewing out a little bit of smoke, but it's a sleeping one and quite safe. The caldera is spectacular. You will be able to take pictures there that you know will make your memories last forever. This is the island of Syros, and Syros is the capital island of the Cyclades Islands. This is where the local government is based. There's also a university there. This is a little bit bigger and busier island. I think some 30,000 or so people that live there, and a year-round destination as a result. You will also, for the romantics amongst us, see the little fishing boats that are dotting up and down and bobbing up and down in the little small fishing ports that you will often see in Greece. The blue water, but these are still functioning, practicing very sustainable ways of fishing. And the fish that these gentlemen and ladies, but mainly gentlemen, will catch will end up on your plate if you go to one of the local tavernas. And think about the fresh octopus, the fresh whatever it may be. it ends up on your plate cooked spectacularly well, and with the views like this, the meal's going to taste the best you will ever have. Now you also have these spectacular sites in other parts of Greece. This is not on the islands. This is the area called Meteora, where they have these monasteries on top of these rock formations, and it literally looks like these fell out of the sky. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there's many of them in Greece that are absolutely must-sees, and where pictures, for the most part, cannot really do justice to what you're going to be experiencing. Now, food, as you will gather, food is an important part. These are the famous dolmas that are the grape leaves, which are filled, cooked, fresh, and absolutely stunning, delicious. Nothing compared to the ones that you get in a can here in some of the supermarkets. The Greek cuisine has quite evolved over the years, and if you go in Athens to some of the restaurants, you will find fine dining Greek cuisine at really reasonable pricing. And speaking of fine dining, and the fresh fish, this was a picture I took myself actually when I was in Athens last year. And, they fillet the fish, obviously, but this was one of the fresh sea basses grilled to order. Absolutely amazing with some lemon. Now, the Greeks have a good lifestyle. They are not too stressed about too many things. And therefore, on average, I think the Greeks also live much longer than most people do in the rest of the world. And the tranquil, sort of quiet and stress-free environment is well represented with some of these images that you're looking at now. These are some gentlemen, possibly locally, talking politics, having a cup of coffee and an ouzo, and killing time that way. You will see scenery like this. And often, if they find out that you're from, say, the United States or Canada, they will ask you to come and join them. They will have some questions, and who knows, offer you one of their ouzos to get you quickly into the conversation. The kids, the passion, I love this picture because it shows all these wonderful children in the traditional outfits. Now, this is not just done for tourists. The Greeks are a proud people. They live their culture, they live their heritage. And you see that when you get into Greek communities here in the United States and in Canada, but it's still alive and well in Greece itself. So don't be surprised if you encounter a wedding going on that you will run into these people that are dressed up in the local cultural outfits. And then obviously, all these impressions, you need to relax sometimes yourself. And what better place to do it but Mykonos in Little Venice, as you see the sun going down with a nice little ouzo or a local wine, contemplating life. This is one of the most impressive spots in the world to, recharge your batteries, if you like. So, Mr. Ryan, let's take all of our guests on a voyage with us 7 nights with the idyllic Aegean.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gordon. So, as I mentioned, we do every cruise in and out, and our company also home base is in Athens. And so, I want to share just briefly a bit of information about the opportunities for pre and post uh, for this program in the idyllic. But what I would like to showcase is this idyllic itinerary, and not only how port intensive the program is. So, if you notice on it, every day you're in port by 7 or 8 in the morning. But the idyllic also showcases 24 hours in Mykonos, as well as plenty of time to watch the sunset and drink an ouzo or spend some time with your traveling friends or family in Santorini. This is a perfect journey to take you through the Greek islands, but very, very dynamic with stops in Kusadasi as well as on the island of Rhodes. And our flagship program, the Idyllic, as you can see, showcases many dates for you to choose from. So you can find the perfect sailing date in 2021 or in 2022 for your journey, for you and your family. Now, as I mentioned, we do our pre and post in Athens. To go all the way to Greece from North America without spending time in Athens would be an injustice. So we do offer pre and post programs, and Celestial can help set up pre and post programs so that you're allowed to see some of the amazing sites of the Plaka. And you can see the beautiful Acropolis, which I was fortunate enough to visit on my journey to Greece not so long ago. There's so many sites you can see. The Acropolis is one. Also, for those of you that are interested in museums, the new Acropolis Museum is ranked as one of the top 10 museums in the world. This is an archaeological museum focused on the findings of the archaeological site, the Acropolis, and it showcases more than 4,200 objects on display. Now, in the main entrance, it lies over Roman ruins, as you can see in this beautiful photo here. So there's tremendous, tremendous history, not only in the building, but also outside, which was discovered when they were constructing the new museum. The specs of the museum are built to the exact size and shape of the Acropolis itself. As you can see, it's a mix of the old world with all of these incredible artifacts and a blend of modern architecture. It's truly exquisite. And there's people that travel from all over the world simply for this museum. This is just one of the many sites that we can show you on your pre or post program with Celestyal Cruises. Some wonderful photos here bring back great memories of my time in this museum. Also, in addition to museums, you can also visit Olympic Stadium, which is the home of the first modern Olympic Games dating back to 1896. These are absolutely iconic places that we can show you and that I recommend everybody spending time to see in depth and to explore. Of course, we can't go too long without talking about food. You can find some of the best gyros. You can obviously in the Plaka find your way from gyros to Greek salads to fresh fish. As Gordon mentioned earlier, there's no shortage of healthy, delicious eats while you're in Greece and in Athens. Maybe stop by a local fish market for the catch of the day. Absolutely amazing and extremely healthy. These Greek salads bring back memories. I feel I can still taste those tomatoes from my last journey in Greece. Extremely fresh. Another incredible spot to visit is Monastiraki Square. This photo was taken by Gordon actually on Gordon's visit the last time that he was in Athens. Monastiraki Square is a market and premier shopping district in Plaka in Old Athens. It's known for its remarkable clothing boutiques, specialty stores, food and drinks similar to this rooftop bar where Gordon took this photo, and souvenirs. You can easily yourself find a rooftop bar and take a photo similar to this, and it will be a memory that you'll cherish forever. But this is one of the iconic European squares that you'll ever visit, and you'll certainly remember your time there. Here's a photo of Gordon's parents, as well as his uncle, that were going on a Celestyal Cruise, and they decided to do just that. They found a rooftop restaurant. You can see the Acropolis in the background illuminated. It's certainly an experience that you must enjoy while you're in Athens at the beginning or the end of one of your Celestyal programs. And then the next day, we get to do, obviously, the fun, the safety check and the brief on board as we do embarkation to get familiar with the ship, some of the amenities and the safety protocols, and then it's all smiles from there as we make our way out to the Aegean Sea. I can still remember what the weather was like, what the smell was like. As you can see, the smile on my face is worth 1,000 words. But our first port is into Ephesus. This is a fountain where you would wash your feet if you're going to visit a mosque. There's plenty of culture that is very, very different once we arrive in Kushadasi and make our way to Ephesus. But one of the included excursions is the Library of Celsus in Ephesus, as you see on the screen here. This was built in the 10th century BC. Ephesus is one of the 7 churches of Asia cited in the book of Revelation. Such significant history here. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So we do include this as our program. As you can see in this photo, there weren't social distancing problems with using the restroom in Ephesus at that time. And then there's also the opportunity to visit the terrace houses. So we would recommend the Library of Celsus is included in every program, but you can also add on to do a longer day tour if you'd like while you're in Kushadasi. The terrace houses are known as the houses of the rich. In history, they're significant because they show the daily life during the Roman period. So these were known as the rich houses at the time. And there's also the opportunity to visit Mary's house, where Mary lived and actually spent her last days in that exact location. So tremendous, tremendous history here. And then no stop in Kushadasi is complete without taking in the Turkish rugs that are a true piece of art. So these are a top export in Turkey, and they are hand woven. This is a souvenir that every traveler should get their hands on, and you'll also get a demonstration of the silkworm on location here as well. So you'll get to see how these are made. You can try to take your hand and realize that it's not as easy as they make it look. From Ephesus, we make our way over to another very, very different port and very different island. We'll make our way over to Rhodes, known as the Island of the Knights, named after the Knights of St. John, the St. John of Jerusalem, excuse me, who ruled the island from 1310 to 1522. If you like late 13th century, early 14th century, you're going to be ecstatic on this visit. You'll learn all about the history of the Knights of the Crusades. And we do have an included excursion here as well to the Acropolis of Lindos. So as we make our way on the motor coach over to the port village or the fishing village of Lindos, you can see the Acropolis of Lindos up at the top of the hill there. This is an archaeological site and an absolutely fascinating place to visit, not just because of its history, but if you're willing to put in the steps, you'll not only learn about the history, but you'll be able to take a hike up to the top and see remarkable views as well from the natural citadel.
Thanks, Ryan. Wonderful place Rhodes is, but we're going on our journey to another famous island, the island of Crete. And where we embark or disembark as we arrive there is a beautiful village called Agios Nikolaos or Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas, as those of you who know who sail, is the patron saint of all sailormen or merchant marine, and also the patron saint of Greece itself. So a very important saint, as you can imagine. But this is one of those lovely towns where you have an opportunity to maybe just chill and have a relaxing drink in one of the many many taverns. But it's also the gateway to another completely different culture that goes back even further, 2000 BC, the Bronze Age, the Palace of Knossos, the Minoan culture. And as you can see by the smile on Ryan's face here, it's information overload as you do this wonderful excursion there, Mr. Ryan.
Yeah, this was a day that I'll never forget. I love history, and this is a walk through history. So you can see the smile on my face. The Palace of Knossos is very, very significant, obviously for Western civilization, and you get to take steps through where many of these components began and where the inception happened. The Palace of Knossos was one of my favorite touring days on my journey, and you can see it in the smile on my face.
Yeah, and Knossos is obviously famous also for a lot of other things that, it's a unique culture and it sort of has a start and an end. And the fact is that they think that maybe it was impacted by the volcano on Santorini. We'll get to that in a minute because there are some remnants there of Minoan culture also. But the at the heydays in the site where we are going, the palaces and the city there used to be 100,000 people, and they had a fully functioning sewer system and government that is organized. And then, of course, then there's the famous legend of the labyrinth that took place with the Minotaur. So all of this life history, you can touch most of this. These paintings, the frescoes that you see, actually are replicas. The originals are, of course, in museums because they need to be protected from the elements. But you have a really good idea of what things would have looked like, literally 2000 BC. And this is well before a high culture, well before the Romans ever started to become conquerors of Europe, and of course the Greeks in between. The Greeks, the modern Greeks, or I don't even know how to describe it because the Minoans were so advanced already that it's incredible. If you look at European history, that we ended up in the Dark Ages after all this wonderful uh, stuff happened well before. Now, history, culture, food is all good and fun, and but you need to also have a little um, free time, if you like, to do some Greek dancing, perhaps. And you cannot just do that; you have to learn it. So here in Crete, we take you to a farm which is family owned by a gentleman named Vasilis. He makes his own wine. He makes some of his own distilled produce and products that will get you dancing rather quickly. But his family does put up a little show for our guests. It's a small group excursion, so it's very intimate. and he will literally show you how, for generations, his family has made the wine by hand. And then you enjoy some lovely fresh olives and Greek salads. And as you can see by the empty glasses, everybody is ready to get going and do some Greek dancing afterwards as well. Now, from Crete, we sail to what is probably the most, or one of the most famous islands in Greece, Santorini. And I told you that this island is kind of linked to the demise of the Minoan culture because they believe that perhaps the volcano, when it erupted here, was the cause of what happened there. Now, the volcano is dormant, but still has a little bit of smoke spewing out, and you can visit the crater. But the main reason why people come to Santorini is to see the beautiful towns of Fira and Ia perched on top of the caldera. And usually tender in because this is the way to do it. It's very nice to first of all get in. It's difficult for ships to dock there just at the way that the island is shaped. And when you get there, as Ryan already highlighted, we have quite a bit of time in port, so you can get away from all those crowdy streets that everybody frequents and explore some of the empty ones in the back end of the towns of Fira and Ia. And as a lot of cruise ships depart, we are still in town so that you can get a proper, beautiful sunset experience in Ia. And in the distance there, you can see, the other islands that make up what used to be one island many, many years ago. This is another image of Ia, an artist community where there's lots of painters and people that come for inspiration and lovely souvenir shopping there. Beach time, you have ample opportunity to explore as well. And if you ever envision yourself on a Martian style beach, this is kind of what it is. It's because of the incredible volcanic activity that the colors of the rock and the stone, in this case, have turned bright red. So you have red beaches, but you also have in Santorini on the other side of the island, the black beaches. And since you have so much time in port, you can actually do this. If you haven't had enough of culture and history, then Akrotiri is a must. And Akrotiri is, like I said, linked to the Minoan culture. This is the Pompeii of Greece. The only thing they know is that the people that lived here knew in advance that something was going to happen with the volcano because they have not found any remnants of people here. So it's clear that people escaped the site before the eruption. And they also link the legend of Atlantis to Santorini, and what fantastic opportunity to explore some of those stories as well as you're there. And of course, at night you need to soak it all in. This is a winery that we can host weddings at, and but you can also just go there for a romantic get together with your significant other and enjoy a glass of wine with some of the $1 million views that you will not get in too many other places. Then we sail on to another gem of the Cyclades group of islands, an island called Milos. These little homes that you see here, they have what it looks like are garages, which technically they are, but it was for the fishermen to store their boats. So they could literally just roll up the ship or the little boat and go fishing and live life in a simple way. Now these homes have turned mostly into family or into vacation rentals, but still, there's some that are still occupied by fishermen. Very colorful. The island of Milos is one that has to be on your list. It's not yet quite discovered by as many people as Santorini and Mykonos have been, but it's getting good traction, and it's for the blue waters that you find there and the wonderful culture. The island itself only has several thousand inhabitants, so it's very unspoiled and absolutely stunning. Speaking of stunning, of course, Mykonos, along with Santorini, those are sort of what we call the marquee ports, the ports that everybody wants to go to. Again, we spent ample time in ports, so you can, explore the island, do some things that are off the beaten track. For those of you who don't know, Mykonos, the town here, was built purposely to be confusing. All the little alleys and streets that you walk in around and are kind of like a labyrinth, and that's for it was for pirates that used to roam and sometimes came to visit. The local populace was not too fond of them and had a good opportunity to get rid of them by confusing them in the little streets and in a not so hospitable way show them the way out. But it's nowadays obviously the jet set island, the world famous. Always come here, and it's kind of the Saint Tropez of Greece, and it's wonderful to be there because it's kind of a climax and interesting how you are in this beautiful village, which feels so rustic, yet knowing that there's a lot of money in this place. If you want to escape the craziness of the small town of Mykonos, then why not go to a beach? This is Kalafatis Beach, and this is one of those blue flag beaches that I was talking about. A beautiful place to go to and just sort of wind down at the end of the busy explorations that you may have done. Or this is a taverna that you may want to visit. Since you have so much time, what I did when I did this cruise is I physically rented a car, went to this taverna, and it's a bit of an insider's tip. It's called Kiki's. And the owner of the restaurant starts business at 11 o'clock in the morning. And you have to be there early because people are queuing up and you cannot make reservations. And the nice thing is that if as you're queuing up, he will be serving you wine already. So you're already quite smiley and happy as you go into his kitchen to pick out the salads and the beautiful meals that you are going to be enjoying. At the end of the day, Mykonos, of course, the sunset, world famous, right beneath the beautiful windmills. This is in Little Venice. This picture was taken when we were there, Brian, myself, and the gang from Celestial, um, last of the year before last, I should say. But you can also see that there's a wedding happening on the beach there. So people come there. It's romantic. It's beautiful. You get the scenery. And what it's all about is to take pictures like this, where you see the sunset and you have a lovely cocktail or a nice non-alcoholic beverage if you don't enjoy this kind of stuff. But the scenery, everybody enjoys. And this is just absolutely spectacular. So as you finish doing that, you need to get some souvenirs. And there's some amazing little souvenir stores in the little streets of Mykonos. We love this place because everything is just in the colors of the Cyclades Islands, the famous blues and the whites. And yeah, it's a great place to get your evil eye souvenir, your little trinkets, and of course the postcards if you're still sending those. So important is how you get from A to B as you voyage around the Greek islands. And Ryan is going to take us on a little bit of a trip on the ship itself.
Yes, so let's talk about your home at sea on the Idyllic. We're very, very excited to announce the Celestial Experience, a vessel we've added to our fleet recently. This ship is perfectly suited for the region in which we sail. As you can see, it is a mid-sized vessel. While it says on the screen up to 800 guests, we will be sailing with much less than that, pardon me, in terms of capacity. So there's plenty of space with all of the amenities from 6 restaurants and 7 bars, numerous pools and jacuzzis and beach club, uh, along with all the other amenities you would expect from your stateroom in terms of a shower, a mini bar, safety deposit box, etc. And we're also very, very excited to speak on the sauna, wellness, and spa. There's no shortage of comfort or relaxation. Uh, the destination is certainly the highlight, but you're going to feel very, very comfortable on board. As I mentioned, we do have open seating for all of our dining. There are specialty restaurants, so if you're somebody that wants to have a top class experience or a meal that is top shelf, if you will, you can certainly visit one of our specialty restaurants. But there's no shortage of dining. There's no shortage of places to explore for the perfect ambiance. We have incredible entertainment on board. So whether you're talking evening shows that are acrobatics, like you might see on the photo on the left, or traditional music, there is no shortage of entertainment and places to find it. It's truly an adventure when you're on board the Celestial Experience. Around every corner, you'll find that. We're very, very excited to share the sauna wellness and spa. So the sauna wellness and spa truly takes spa to the next level while you're at sea. This is over 47,000 square feet of spa, which is just shy of a professional football field in terms of space. So whether you would like to get a hydrotherapy session, get facials, any type of spa or wellness, uh, you will have the opportunity to do it. This is also included with unlimited access to our suite guests. In addition to the spa, there is a beach club. So the beach club is for suite guests only, and it is also adults only. So if you want to get away, have these incredible views that you'll see up on the deck, looking out at sea, or simply just relax and let the sunshine hit your face, you can certainly do that in the beach club. So what is included in the sauna wellness spa stateroom class, as I mentioned? So you get a number of different amenities that are included that aren't accessible if you're not in the suite stateroom class. So you'll have priority check-in, embarkation, and disembarkation. You'll have access and unlimited access to the sauna, wellness, and spa. Obviously, that's a reason that many people will be booking into these classes of staterooms with unlimited access and use of the thermal suites, the hydro treatment, and the therapy pool. You also get priority access to specialty dining and the beach club, as I mentioned. So the experience is exquisite. From every type of stateroom, if you take a look at the photo on the left, you'll see photos of our grand suite in the sitting area there, which all include wraparound balconies. There are 4 of these grand suites on board. So if you're interested in a grand suite, make sure you get that booked well in advance. But every accommodation is going to make you feel right at home. The ship is the type of vessel that you're not going to want to leave when you get back to Athens. Now, what type of groups are you going to travel with? So we have a very broad range of traveler on board, but these are coming from every type of group, from school groups to honeymooners, to people that are doing destination weddings. We have a tremendous ambiance on board for families and family celebrations, but that's not limited to just families. We are perfectly suited for single travelers, singles groups. You'll see honeymooners. Obviously, pilgrimage travel to the region is important. And so you'll see a number of different types of church groups, university groups, just about every type of traveler under the sun because of how well we do the region. So you'll see all different types of groups on board. We are perfect for solo travelers. Our low single supplements are very, very attractive to the solo travelers. Also, with the region being so safe and so welcoming, and the Greek culture being so welcoming, solo travelers flock to the region and to Celestial Cruises. You have plenty of time to hang out on your own, and it's very, very easy to make friends, which is why we often win awards for the solo or single traveler experience.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Yes, I mean, it's quite a mix of customers and guests on our ships, which makes it a lot of fun. But the ambiance in general is quite laid back and relaxed because you're in Greece or in the Mediterranean after all. So, but we are living a little bit in a different world at the moment, as we know, and we're all very much looking forward. At the moment, we're scheduled to travel or start operating again in April, but there are some important things to keep in mind as we are still working our way through the pandemic. We have on our website a dedicated section which we highly recommend that you frequent as we make ourselves ready again to travel with the health protocols. And we are members of CLIA, the Cruise Line International Association, and obviously take our guidance from both the local and the international health organizations. And it is important to know that the cruise industry in general has always been at the forefront of providing safe, healthy options of travel. And we continue to be at the forefront, especially with our membership of CLIA, where all of us work together, to get ships sailing safely for you again. And to make it even easier, we have, highlighted some of the friendly terms. First of all, if you take advantage of some of our promotions, you will find deposits as low as $99. And for the most part, those deposits are refundable up to 90 days before you depart. So you have ample time. The standard deposit is $300, which I would also say is a friendly deposit. This is per cabin. And final payments are usually not due until 45 days before sailing. And then if something should happen, should you not be able to go for whatever reason at this moment, you can adjust and rebook up to 30 days before the sailing takes place. So there's flexibility and friendly terms that hopefully get us back to traveling very soon. Now, speaking of getting back to travel, we want to make it even easier. It's almost like, wait, there is more kind of scenario here. Just for attending or paying attention to what we have to say here today, being part of our event, we have a show special. And that special basically means that you can save an additional 10% on whatever rate we are currently advertising for the idyllic 7 night cruise. The key thing is that you book by the 20th. So 10% applies to the cruise portion of the fare. Taxes are excluded from that, but it's still a significant savings, especially when you consider that you can book an inside cabin that is from as little as $729 per person, which gets you in an inside. In a slightly later season, it's going to go slightly up to 2019. Still an incredible value if you consider all the inclusions, the excursions, the meals, the drinks, etc. It's almost less than $100 a day when you think about it, if you take advantage of the 729 rate. This applies to new individual FIT bookings only. So it cannot be used for groups, but it does apply to individual bookings. And this is our shout out to our travel agent friends. It must be booked through your travel agent. It's not available from Celestyal Direct. It can only be obtained, this reduction, if you book through your friendly travel professional. And make sure that your agent mentions the secret code word, the password, which is escape, when they call us. So when they contact our contact center, mentioning the code escape will open up the door to the 10% vault, if you like. So make sure you take advantage of this and get yourself back dreaming. So in summary, what makes us unique? You've learned a lot about Greece, the destinations. We're rich in destinations. That's our focus. We want to make sure that you come to a place, walk away, enlightened and enriched. We're all inclusive. We're unique in terms of the durations of our cruises. They're 3, 4, 7, 14 night, and really, heavy on the ports and the calls that we have, allowing you ample time to explore. The ships are mid-size, which is a huge advantage as well. Gets you into ports like Milos, where the big ships cannot go. It makes a huge difference having a ship that's serving, say, just over 1,000 passengers via a ship that has 5,000. And of course, the exceptional Greek hospitality, along with the unique itineraries. So, like we said, in order to book, we highly recommend that you go back to your travel advisor who has invited you to attend this session today. They are the experts. In uncertain times, it's best to have your best friend look after you. And we believe that your best friend is your travel professional. And they are the ones that can unlock that special offer, as we already pointed out. Now, we're going to be hosting more of these events in the next months. The next one is planned on March 25th. So with that said, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for your time. And Ryan and I say in Greek, Efcharisto, or thank you very much.
Efcharisto.
Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you in March or in Greece.
Thank you, everyone.